Welcome to Module 2 of Records Management 101 for Houston ISD employees. In this module, we will be answering the question, what is a record? And covering other basic records management questions. We know that managing the records in your office can sometimes seem like a daunting task, especially if you're not sure what they are or how long to keep them. Our goal throughout this course is to empower you to take control of your records. First, we're going to learn how to identify records and what makes them so important. In Module 2, we'll be reviewing what constitutes a record, how records differ from non-records, how records should be treated, the different formats that records come in, and an overview of a record's life cycle. What is a record? As we mentioned in Module 1, by law, a local government record is recorded information in any format that is created or received by the local government in the transaction of public business. Anything meeting this criteria is considered a record, even if it contains confidential information. So the fact that it might be exempt from a public information request does not take away from its status as a record. It is still a record, even if it contains confidential information. A record can exist in any medium: paper, electronic, sound records, videos, and emails. It could be on a flash drive or DVD. This definition is purposefully broad to cover many different types of documents. So let's break it down together. As a public school district, the records that we create and receive that support the functioning of the district are subject to the same laws and rules as local government records. In the next few modules, we will be learning about the rules requiring their care and ultimate disposition. But first, let's talk again about identifying the records in your office. Let's think about some examples of common records found in many district departments and campuses. For example, employment applications, personnel evaluations, budget reports, vendor files, student enrollment data, student academic records, clinic records, and food service records. These are just a few examples of the records you might have in your office or campus, and we'll review how to identify records a little bit later. It's important to remember that records can come in any format. We can no longer think of records as just being simple paper files, like reports and contracts. Records are increasingly becoming digital. This means that email, database information, and website content can be considered local government records if they support functions of public business. Since almost everything you touch is a record, it's a little easier to define a record by what is not a record. There are certain kinds of documents that are considered to be non-records by the state of Texas. Convenience copies, which are extra, identical copies of documents created only for convenience of reference or research, are not records. Blank forms and stocks of publications are not records. One single publication should be kept as the record copy, but all the extras are not records. Library or museum materials are not records. Alternative dispute resolution working files are not records. Unlike records, which must be retained and discarded, according to the requirements of the state of Texas, non-records can be discarded at your discretion once they no longer serve a business purpose. Not everything that you create and receive is going to be considered a local government record. So let's talk about what exactly does qualify as public business and what makes a record. We want to start by asking ourselves, what is the purpose of the record? Answering this question starts with asking the following. What is your job function? What is your office's function at the district? What is the district's function as a local government agency of the state of Texas? The primary role of records is to document decisions and transactions that support various district functions, from onboarding new employees to helping new students enroll in their assigned campus. Records support functions like daily business transactions, compliance with legislative requirements, service delivery, risk management, and other school district activities. Houston ISD is a large public institution with a lot of varied functions. Records across the varied campuses and offices will look different. But at the end of the day, any document or information that is recorded to support your job and the activities of your office should be considered a local government record. Finally, let's wrap up by talking briefly about the life cycle of a record. All records have a life cycle, some longer than others. Most records typically have 4 common life cycle stages: creation or receipt, active use, inactive storage, and final disposition of the record. Most likely, records are destroyed at the end of the life cycle, although some with historical value or permanent retention will be maintained in the archives. Getting to know how specific records in your office move through their life cycle will help you better organize the files you have, store them efficiently, and ultimately have a timely disposition schedule that keeps your office from being buried under records that are no longer relevant to the business needs of your office. Okay, let's quickly recap everything that you've learned in Module 2. Houston ISD is a local government agency of the state of Texas, and district records should be treated as local government records. Records support and document business functions of your office or campus. Records can come in a variety of formats, not just paper. Records must be retained and discarded according to Texas requirements, while non-records can be discarded after they no longer serve a business purpose. And finally, most records have a 4-stage life cycle, starting with creation and ending with disposition. You have completed Module 2 of Records Management 101 for Houston ISD employees. Please proceed to Module 3, Retention Basics, or visit our webpage for additional resources. If you have any questions or need assistance, you can contact the Records and Information Management Office at recordsmanagement@houstonisd.org.